Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you this late afternoon, going into evening time momentarily, and I'm sorry I haven't done a video since January 8th, which was Sunday. I basically was busy working and all that, so this review is actually for the second marathon studio album review for Bush's second album, Razorblade Suitcase, that I'm actually going to be reviewing for you guys tonight for this review. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for all 13 tracks I listened to yesterday, because I did listen to them all yesterday. I just didn't want to revisit this album, and I'll tell you why when I go into the review, of course. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for Bush Razorblade Suitcase and let you know my thoughts on this album. So let's dive into this album review. Now, the first track is called Personal Holloway, and off the bat, it's a decent start. It's not anything mind-blowingly great, but I think it had some alright moments. But I think with what Bush went for with the sound for this album, it almost sounded like another Nirvana album. And no joke. That's not a good thing because they didn't have originality with this album. I know they were trying something, but didn't succeed. So, yeah. Personal Holloway's getting a 4 out of 5. I think it's a decent song. I just was more impressed with this track than the others. So, let's get right into the rest of the tracks, of course. So, yeah, 4 out of 5 for Personal Hallway. It's a decent song, not something I would come back to too much, but I had some enjoyment with it. Greedy Fly was decent. It just had some shout, just some weird echoing uh, vocals from Gavin Rosdale in this track. I didn't hate it. I just think it got repetitive and repeated itself so much with how he was repeating the chorus a couple times and repeating certain lyrics, and it just didn't quite interest me. So 4 out of 5. Swallowed is a solid track. Not sure what I think of it. It's probably one of the stronger tracks. I didn't hate it, but yeah, it's probably one of the stronger tracks from this album, and that's saying something good about it. So 4.5 out of 5 for Swallowed. Insectkin was average, not something I'm gonna go gun ho crazy for, but hey, it's an average track. It just Gavin Rosdale mostly did some repeated a lyric, and it just didn't quite interest me. He repeated it quite a bit of times, and it just didn't quite interest me and make me feel like I was enjoying the song. And it's kind of a weak song. So, not to the point where it's a bad song. It's just an average track, but it has weak tendencies with the how the song is playing out and all that. So, 3.5 out of 5. Cold Contagious felt very long and draggish, and it's okay. For what it is, it's okay. So 3 out of 5. Um, I just felt that when I listened to the track, I was getting 6 minutes of almost dozing off to this song, honestly. So that's a shame. And I really like Bush. I liked the first album, 16 Stone, and this album kind of set them back a bit. Not in a good way. Just they went spiraling downhill with this album. A Tendency to Start Fires is an average track. Not the worst song, but it's something. So 3.5 out of 5. There are some lyrics on here that I just don't know if I'm feeling for with this. Quite a bit of the album has some repetitive lyricism. with just saying the same lyric and repeating it so much, and it just made me cringe. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5. It's an average track. It performed averagely, just had some weak moments while you breeze through the track, of course. Mouth is a okay song, not the best song, but this and Cold Contagious were the okay tracks. Then the album starts to pick up a bit more, but then it just stumbles towards the end of the album. So yeah, 3 out of 5 for Mouth. It just got repetitive, and I wasn't feeling for the track in any way. Straight No Chaser is an average track, just like I said in the beginning of this video, they are trying to pull off a sound like Nirvana was, and it didn't do very well. So, I don't know. I know Bush is trying to do something different with this album, but it didn't succeed. And that's a shame. I really like Gavin Rossdale and Bush as the band for the newest album and 16 Stone. I gotta hear the rest of their discography to determine for myself what I think of it. But still, 3.5 out of 5 for Straight No Chaser. History is a solid track. It's decent for what it is, I should have said. Um, should have reiterated what I said, but still, decent track. Just had some slight hiccup moments when you breeze through the track. Give me a second, I gotta pause the video. Sorry about that, guys. There was like a weird swirling knocking or whatever outside my somewhere in my house or whatever. It's so weird. I don't know what it was, but sorry for the pausing the video. Just had to check on something. My mom wanted me to check what it was. So, yeah, to continue where I left off, Synapse is the next song, and that's a decent song for what it is, so 4 out of 5. There's just some repetitive moments with Gavin Rossdale singing and just the way the lyrics he's singing. It just didn't strike me as amazing. But the song, guitar-wise and drum-wise, performed decently. So 4 out of 5. Communicator is a decent song. Towards the end of this album, it starts getting a little bit tolerable, but then starts to stumble at the last song. So, yeah, 4 out of 5 for Communicator. Bone Driven is a decent song as well. I don't know what I feel when I listen to this song. I'm trying to find some enjoyment in it, but the enjoyment gets sucked out when I listen to how the song is sounding overall, and it's not performing very well. Just the way Gavin Rossdale is singing it, and just the way it's coming off with how it makes me feel when I listen to the song. It's just, I'm not connecting with it in any way. So 4 out of 5. Still a decent track with the instrumentation, but it lyrically it could have been worked on. Distant Voices and then a hidden track along with this song. Average way to end the album. It's kind of a hit or miss for me, but still 3.5 out of 5. So I don't want to come off as negative in this review, but basically overall, in my opinion, I think Bush Razorblade Suitcase is an okay listen. It's not the best album. I don't even know if I want to own it. I probably will just to collect the Bush albums, but it's not an album I'm gonna return to that much. It's just I listened to it just because I wanted to see how it would sound overall and how it would make me feel when I listened to it, but I wasn't feeling anything for this album. It just felt like a ripoff of Nirvana a bit, and that's a shame. So when I was listening to how Gavin Rossdale was singing it, it's just like you're listening to a new Nirvana album with this album. But that's a shame. And I'm not trying to make them sound like they're ripping off them. They're not. They're trying to have an original sound, but it just doesn't come off as original. So, first score for me, I'm giving Bush Razorblade Suitcase for this album a 6.5 out of 10. Okay, listen. Not sure if I'm gonna be coming back to this album. I'll probably own it just to collect it in due time, but this is just my personal opinion. If you didn't agree with me on this album review, feel free to let me know in the comment section below what you agreed and disagreed with this review, but this is just my overall take on what I thought of this album. And if you like this album, that's great. Um, I can respect that because, yeah, not everyone's going to agree on the same things other people think of this album. And I know they get a lot of flack with their other albums too, but I'll check them out for myself and give my own personal opinion. And what I listened to with this album, it felt like a Nirvana album to me. And that's kind of not being original, in my own opinion. So, but that's just me, I guess. So, that's what I got from listening to Razorblade Suitcase. So, you can let me know in the comment section below. So, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of the Bush Razorblade Suitcase album if you've listened to it. And I'm sorry that I'm late to reviewing this close to January 11th. I just was so busy with other things like work and my life and all that. So I wasn't able to get around to reviewing it last night because I had to do laundry last night too. So I was busy doing that too. But if you did enjoy this Razorblade Suitcase album review by Bush, comment below and let me know your thoughts on it. Tap a like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you can. Support the channel. Like I said, this is an okay listen. It's not the worst thing I've heard, but it's not the best. It's not them at their best. So, and that's a shame because I really like the band Bush, but I know some critics have criticized quite a bit of their albums and given it some flack. So, yeah, but that's I'm just going by what I personally feel when I listen to this album. When I listened to this album, I should have reiterated and said, but still, 6.5 out of 10 for Bush Razorblade Suitcase. I will be returning to you for the Wednesday Versus video and another Bush Marathon Studio album review. Will be premiering tonight, I think. If I can get around to it. But until then, stay safe, take care. Sorry for giving you guys a slightly disappointing review. It's an okay listen, like I said. Feel free to check it out for yourself to see what you think of it. It's over an hour long of an album, and sorry about that ding, that's my phone. But still, stay safe, take care, guys, and as always, I will see you in my next review.